What up, though, YouTube? Welcome back to the Mr. Lott YouTube channel, and welcome to episode 2 of Mr. Lott Mantras. Mr. Lott Mantras is a series on this channel where I talk about mantras or phrases that I believe people should live by. Now, I want to present these mantras in one of three scenarios. Either it's a mantra that I use, a mantra that I disagree with, or a mantra that I have not yet implemented in my life but have decided to start as of the time of that recording. So before I get started, if you like this content, if you enjoy this form of content on this channel, and that's assuming if you've already listened to or watched any of my other videos, or if you just think I make a good point, I encourage you to leave a like, and specifically for this episode, if you think that this is something that I should continue, please, I invite you to comment the word podcast. Comment the word podcast down in the comments, because what I'm thinking of is branching this off and turning this into something that's a little bit more well suited for a podcast style. But in the meantime, I'm just giving you my thoughts on this channel because this is where I am communicating from. So with that being said, I wanted to give you the mantra that I live by and apply in my life. This is a mantra that I've already installed in my life, in my everyday living, and something that I believe that could be beneficial to others. And the mantra is, move the crowd. Don't let it move you. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Move the crowd. Don't let it move you. So the inspiration of this comes from the NBA playoffs. Right now, at the time of this recording, we are in the semifinals. I'm sorry. We're in the second round of the NBA playoffs. And there are a lot of teams. I think there are 8 teams right now who are jockeying for a position. They're trying to get to that championship trophy. They're trying to get to that NBA finals and get to that championship, that brass ring, that having their jerseys, having their banners hanging in the Raptors and being recognized eternally. But when I watch sports, basketball in this case, I don't just watch them to be entertained. I try to take something from them. And the one constant in this sport is the crowd. And what I think about in life is I think about how I, as an individual, have power over the crowd. And I think that you, as an individual, also have power over the crowd in your life. Now, who's the crowd? Well, it depends. The crowd could be the people that love you, that want to see you win. The crowd could be the people who are just bystanders. They're looking. They don't really know how to feel about you, but they're paying attention. Or the crowd could be your haters. The crowd could be people who want to see you lose, who want to see you fall. And I think we really have 4 movements that we can make to move the crowd. 4 movements that we can make the crowd make. We can make the crowd show up. We can make the crowd sit down, we can make the crowd stand up, and we can make the crowd leave. So I'm going to separate this mantra into those 4 explanations and explain what I mean by each one. So what do I mean when I say make the crowd show up? Well, I look at that as you can make the crowd show up by doing the work on yourself. If you take whatever situation you're in, and whatever goal that you want to aim and accomplish, and you say, you know what, I'm going to set out and do this. You know what, John Lott, I'm going to set out and lose 30 pounds and get into the best shape of my life. Or, you know what, such and such am going to go to culinary arts school and become a Michelin 5-star chef. People are going to naturally show up. You don't know who those people are, but they're going to show up and they're going to want to watch it. It could be 5 people. It could be 500. It could be 500,000. It could be 5 million down the line, but people in some capacity are going to show up. So you can move the crowd by making them show up in the first place. Now, once they're there, what can you make the crowd do? You can make the crowd sit down. You know, and I thought about, speaking of basketball, back in the mid 2000s, I don't know if they still do this now, but there used to be this thing at basketball games where the home team, the crowd would stay standing. They would remain standing until the home team made their first basket. And it was so cool. It was like a respect thing. It was like an honor thing to the home team. And then I started to think, because in some cases, the home team would be standing for quite some time. And the announcers who were covering the game would make some sort of tongue-in-cheek joke saying, wow, this crowd is waiting for the home team to make their first bucket so they can sit down. And that's kind of synonymous with the point that I'm trying to make of you can make people sit down. You can make the crowd that's watching you sit down. And what I mean by sit down, I mean that you can give them the assurance. You could give them the guarantee that you're here to play, that you're here to take care of business, that you're here to win. And to take it another step further, pretend your family's in the crowd. Pretend your loved ones are in the crowd. They're sitting there and they're waiting for you to do that thing that you said you were going to do. Start that thing. They're waiting to see you take that first trip to the gym. They're waiting to see you make that first presentation. They're waiting to see you make that first move towards the thing that you set out to accomplish, the thing that they came to see you do. And it's your job to get started so they can sit down and they can rest in the fact that they know that you came to take care of business and that they're not wasting their time by supporting you. So I want to recap right quick. You can make the crowd show up and you can make the crowd sit down. Next thing you can do is you can make the crowd stand back up. Now, what do I mean by make the crowd stand back up? I'm going to take it back to sports again. When a baseball player knocks it out of the park, home run. When a basketball player rises for an amazing slam dunk. The crowd goes crazy. They jump up out their seats. And kinetically, like energy-wise, emotionally, when a player slam dunks a basketball or they do something amazing, or a baseball player hits a home run, they've exceeded the expectations that we had in that moment, because that's a rare occurrence. And when I say you can move the crowd by making them stand up, that means you can exceed the expectations of others. Now, hear me out. We shouldn't move based on the expectations of others, but what we should do is we should strive to exceed the expectations of those who believe in us. We should strive to make them proud and push it even further and make them more proud. And we should also do that for ourselves. Exceed your own expectations, because guess what? Sometimes you can have an outer body experience where you're watching yourself and you're paying attention to what you've got going on and what you're trying to do, right? And sometimes when we do something really well, like let's say we hit a PR in the gym, or let's say that we get a great review on our performance reviews at work, or I don't know, let's say you cooked a great meal for the holiday and everyone really loved it. You exceed that limitation and that expectation that they set on you, or that they thought that you could do. As of this recording, go back and watch my last video on exceeding limitations and removing those limitations. This is where that falls into. If you exceed those expectations and limitations, you stand up the crowd. Okay, so the final thing that you can make the crowd do is you can make the crowd leave. And who am I talking about? This is where I'm talking about the haters. This is where I'm talking about the haters, guys. So naturally, I would think that if someone came to see you win and they came to support you, they want to stay there. They want to stay in that seat. They took the time out their day, or they took the time out their lives, or they took the energy to pay attention to whatever you've got going on. They want to see you succeed. So they're going to stay there. But the haters came to see you lose. The haters came to see you get beat. They came to see you get crossed over, to get tackled. They came to see you strike out. They came to see you crumble under pressure. They came to see you get fired. They came to see you get your heart broke. They came to see you get stumped out by life. And guess what? You got the power to make them leave. How? By sticking in it, by getting the job done, by persevering, by doing the thing that's ugly, by doing the thing that sucks, by embracing not just the fruits of your labor, but the vegetables of your labor, which is also in another video on this channel. But by taking on the challenge of that thing that you're trying to do, and by looking at the crowd, by looking at yourself in the mirror even, and saying, you know what, I'm sticking with this. I'm not quitting. I'm not backing down. I'm not letting this thing steamroll me. I'm going to become the steamroller. Eventually, your haters will leave. And what I mean by that is, I think they'll either leave by getting tired of watching you and getting tired of the fact of them wanting to see you fail and you not failing, or your haters are going to actually turn into supporters, because they're going to actually notice your tenacity, and they're going to be able to read your ability to stick with whatever you're doing that much better. And in turn, they're going to become supporters. So just to recap, how can we move the crowd as people who want to achieve, as high performers, or people who have high expectations of ourselves? We can move the crowd by making them come, making them show up to see us. We can move the crowd by sitting them down. We can move the crowd by standing them up. And we can move the crowd by making them leave. Mr. Lott Mantra number 2, move the crowd. Don't let it move you. So that's it for today's mantra, guys. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you are enjoying this form of content, because honestly, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable on a microphone, podcast style, really just allowing my mind to wander and being able to speak to someone, 5 people, 50 people, it doesn't matter. I hope that this mantra and this message reaches someone who needs it. And then I hope that wherever you are, weekday or weekend, day or night, that you find this valuable, and that you are able to either open up the conversation about it or internalize it, reflect on it, and use it. So thanks for coming and listening to this mantra. And don't forget, comment the word podcast if this is something that you'd like to hear more often. Or better yet, it doesn't even have to be the word podcast. It could be one word: continue, nice, awesome, something that lets me know that this is something that you enjoy. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great one.